The only way that I thought was an appropriate way to introduce her was to actually read something of hers that appeared, probably the first thing that I had published from her, which I believe she has this, but I had to read it anyway. I'm sorry if you were going to read this in your feature.
No. I didn't understand the first one. I thought you were going to read something.
This is right before your feature, my darling. I wanted to read this poem for the world and hear how... And you said it'd be fascinating to hear how somebody else would read it. So this is a Jenene Ravesloot poem that was published in the October 2011 magazine issue, volume 225, and it is called Spring and Not One Singing Bird, Sestina Variation. Spring and not one singing bird. Reader, the future is a naked branch. How can I help you? The receiver of this poem will hear nothing, just a certain calmness, like after a suicide, but before the corpse has been cut down. Before the corpse has been cut down, spring and not one bird. The air is calm, safe after a suicide. Reader, the future is a naked branch. You will hear nothing. How can I help you? I don't think I can help you before the corpse has been cut down. You will hear nothing, nothing, not even one single bird. Reader, the future is a naked branch. Everything will be calm, like after a suicide. Everything will be calm, like after a suicide. I doubt that I will ever be able to help you, because the future is a naked branch, and the corpse has not been cut down. It is spring, and not one bird. You will hear nothing. You will hear nothing, just a certain calmness, like after a suicide. You won't see one bird. I will not be able to help you. The corpse has not been cut down. The future is a naked branch. No future, just a naked branch. The receiver of this poem will hear nothing before the corpse has been cut down, just a certain calmness like after a suicide. I will never be able to help you. It is spring. There isn't one singing bird. No one can help you. The corpse hasn't been cut down. It is spring, and not one bird, just silence, like after a suicide. The future is a naked branch. You will hear nothing. On that one. So I really don't need to give this woman much of an explanation, because I think everybody here loves her, and I believe everybody in the international world who gets to see her podcast and see her on YouTube loves her as well. I'm really looking forward to hearing what's going to come from this feature. So ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for Miss Jenene Ravesloot.
Because I'm so lazy. I'm getting very old. I just finished writing Floating Worlds. It's a new book of mine. And it is for sale. And I think I would like to start with Espetos de Sardinas. We walk through the Paseo del Parque in Malaga. Date palms, plane trees, tropical shrubs, fountains, sculptures. Walk past old women who dust down whitewashed walls with small white rags. Not far, you say. I see it. The Paseo Maritimo, La Malaguita Beach, blonde sand imported from the Sahara Desert, beach bars, old Sand-filled boats turned into barbecues. Sardines cook on skewers. Sardines a la salle, whole sardines. We eat heads, eyes, tails, rub our hands on our bodies when we're finished. The stench of sardines linger on our fingers, arms, legs. The not unpleasant aftertaste of oil and salt on our tongues. How to describe it? Describe you. Your propped up right arm, exposed white breast resting on a beach blanket. The sun spinning like a net of caught fish just above the Mediterranean. Thank you. Thank you. The first part of this book is about Spain. And I was in Spain several years ago and really loved it. And I went there with a friend of mine and her family, and we stayed at the Marriott. And the father had Alzheimer's and the mother had MS. And so it was quite an experience moving through Spain with her family. And this is because he couldn't remember. The Marriott's Marbella Beach Resort. White marble floors, whitewashed walls, lush geranium gardens we can see from the balcony. Two blue pools that shine like cat eyes in the sun. The sound of hola, hola as we exit the elevator, head for the car. The Autopista del Sol. Your father asking, "Who are you?" over and over, while lemon trees, blood-red soil, appear, disappear in the convex rearview mirror. Thank you. So, this is titled Vanishing Points. It's in 5 parts. 1. There are no white delphiniums in this landscape, no paper whites, no white birch. All the pools are frozen over, and somewhere far off, a kind of geometry is falling from the sky, star or snowflake. No one will see it. 2. I press my lips against the window, kiss and kiss. A single row of vaporous roses bloom on the darkened glass, fade, disappear. 3. When you are beneath me, I am looking at the moon doubled in a tidal pool. 2 blue fish hang there, 2 stones caught in a web of silver mesh. 4. Nothing is here for very long. A net breaks. The moon goes behind a cloud. Everything escapes or is carried away like a corpse. 5. No moon. No shadows. Look, I never really existed. So, on a lighter note, trapeze, a quiet moment. I live inside of it. Tick-tock. The bedroom clock on the bird's eye maple chiffonier ticks back, stops. A stuffed squirrel with one torn ear drops a nut. A half-moon's poor imitation of a moonwalk exits behind a cloud. Languid stars smile wanly from draped lacquer beds. They're smoking angel dust. Hands behind my head, I stare up at you, at us, suspended there, midair. Cheyenne, Thai coffee, iced coffee. Forget its odd origins, wild brown hair that stands straight up from the coconut, its coarse brown skin that feels like dried out wood, its sweet white meat. Organic Kimon black tea leaves, star anise, ground tarramin, cardamom, 6 cups of boiling water, 1/2 cup of sugar, 1/2 cup of sweetened condensed milk, 1 cup of coconut milk. Sip your Thai iced tea through a straw while you twirl a miniature blue paper umbrella stuck on a toothpick between thumb and forefinger. You know the tea will keep you up, but you don't care. You'll stare at shards of light that race across the ceiling at midnight. Stare at morning light through the blinds. Stare at that photograph he sent from Thailand, the one with 3 stranded dogs on a wall surrounded by broken white icons. His scrawled words, monsoon season, such destruction. So I'm interested in foreign poetry, as my husband is as well, and we do triolets and Cecilias, as you well know, and Villanelles and so forth. And so this is called an imperfect triolet, and it is indeed imperfect, but imperfect in another way as well. So imperfect triolet. What was thought imperishable rots, rots like an antique kimono, my love. White, red, black, so peonies drop. What was thought imperishable rots? A harp of bell clangs in hell, not my fault. And to think you once said I'll never leave. What was thought imperishable rots, rots like an antique kimono, my love. So I was thinking about Cephalo and her wonderful fragmentary poetry, and so I wrote Cephalo in the time of the equinox. The mossy pond overflows, gaping carp twist in mud, bougainvillea, grape leaves, single white roses drop like handkerchiefs from their lines. And you walk among ruined portals, porticos, shattered columns. There are no brilliant frescoes dedicated to you here, no statues of Aphrodite, Artemis, Eros, no polished mirrors, dazzling reflections of yourself found in the other. Just you, a fragment among fragments, reading your poems in the rain. Thank you. How am I doing, Tom? Am I okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Love in the new year. I weave, paint, do all order of things. No more bottles of aspirin, sleeping pills. No more OxyContin mixed with booze, vomit on the bed. Just that downy voice when evening comes. But I can't jump in good faith now. He has me by the wrist, won't let me go down, down, down. Damn, this newest god with long blonde beard who holds me here another year. Damn, this dangling doll I once called me. So, everyone who writes, of course, talks about things that happened in their childhood. And so this is something that actually did really happen to me. Told slightly on the slant, but it's called Light on a Linden Branch. Light on a linden branch reminds you of snow, the kind that fell that other year when you were on all fours because you were about to paint a winter landscape for your mother. You remember the damp scent of white tempera, how it held onto the brush, how it slid across the cheap beige paper you were working on. Remember the sharp, bright peeps of the yellow finch before it dropped from its perch, died like sunlight at the bottom of the metal bird cage. So I did quite a few poems about my father, and this is titled Off to the George Diamond Steakhouse. There used to be a steakhouse in Chicago called George Diamond's, and it's quite famous. Recently burned down. But this is Off to the George Diamond Steakhouse. Off to the George Diamond Steakhouse, just the two of us, with mother sick in the hospital. Sometimes 3 times a week to dine on bowls of chilled lettuce wedges, the house's special pink salad dressing, char-broiled steaks cooked by the chef in the middle of the restaurant's dining room, a side of baked potatoes lathered with sour cream, butter, heaped dinner rolls in a breadbasket Coke for me, a dry martini with a speared pearl onion for Dad, while Walter Keane paintings stare at us. My Mary Jane shoes hover above the soiled red carpet. One last drink. His Manhattan, a red cherry for me, a walk down Wabash Avenue at 9 p.m., the long ride home on the L. Us looking up at a few stars that remind me of the glowing eyes of those painted kids in black wood frames. So I think I'm going to do 2 more poems, and this is titled 24 Hours, and it's in 3 parts. Something is happening behind that window, but what? Perhaps a woman sits at a kitchen table, her hands neatly folded in front of her, like the good girl she used to be in all those grade school photographs taken in the 1950s. Perhaps a plastic Madonna stares back at her, the blue and white one with the delicate face and tiny feet she's coveted since she was a child. Her only inheritance glowing in the unbearable early morning light, too. 12 chairs in an emptied-out living room. Our mothers form a circle. They're going to finish a wedding quilt. Go out and play, they tell us. And so we sit in a field of milkweeds, feed a fallen baby blue jay worms, force its beak into water it will not drink, until dinner calls us home. 3. You are still in your diving suit, Father. I can't see your face behind the mask, but I know it's you on the beach among the jellyfish. You have just come out of the sea, or are going into it. You move across the sand like a weightless astronaut, and then you are gone. Thank you very much.
I don't, ladies and gentlemen, think that that was loud enough. Please, ladies and gentlemen, get up one more time for Jenene Ravesloot. And I've got my awesome gloves on, so we can clap stuff. And she's right. This is awesome. I could just sit here and do stuff. And then I realized, oh my God, I've got all this money that I was going to give her, and I didn't get out my Crown Royal bag. And so I'm thinking I got to be able to distribute this. And then probably people come up to me and like, here's money, and I'm like, well, I haven't even collected for the bag yet, so now I'm going to have to pass this over to you, and then you're going to have to put money in the bag, and I'm going to hunt you all down, every single one of you, because I know you want to give her money because that was an absolutely phenomenal performance.